All right, let me see. I may need to turn that light off. That's not too good. That's better. Hey, everybody, it's Jim. Just going to run the camera live today from the workshop while I do some work. Got the laser, going to fire the laser up, do some gluing, chat with anyone who shows, and just try to get some stuff off my work table here so I can have room to play some games. All right, let's see. Let me switch to the chat. All right, there we go. Looks like we got somebody on. I'll be right back. Firing up the laser. Let's see. So if you'll bear with me for just a moment, I am going to get some of my items that I need to do some work. So what am I going to be doing today? Well, I'm going to be putting paint boxes that I make. I've got 2 here that I need to assemble. I've got to cut. I got to cut a couple Marvel Champions card displays. I guess I could check Etsy and see if any orders came in while I'm morning. Nope, that's good. All right, it's not good, but I'm caught up at least. Okay. Oh, we got 4 people on. Wow. Hey there. Happy Saturday to you too. Craft of the Yeti. I'm trying to remember. Craft of the Yeti goes with Bill? No, hold on. Craft of the Yeti. These names are so. Cody. Okay, thank you, Cody. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is going to be. It has been a minute since I've been. That's okay. I try to remember names, but I'm not always good at it. So what I'm going to do real quick is I am going to put together this box and see if I can also keep an eye on the chat window. All right, so this is something I designed a couple years ago. I wanted something to hold my paints in, and I got a lot of requests for it, and so now I'm able to sell them. Okay, am I totally out of new ones? This is the nuts. I need the bolts. Okay, that's these. All right. So I never in a million years thought my engineering degree would help me to design a paint box. I don't know. It's just funny to me that the things that you end up making or being able to design when you learn how to do some CAD work and laser work. So, but well, I guess I better just talk like people are watching, even though I've only got 3 people on right now. It's been a crazy week. My son graduated last night, which was really cool. My in-laws are in town, and so I have sort of come down to the basement to decompress and hide. It's a lot of socializing, and I don't mind that, but I just needed some time away from the family. So that's why I'm down here and not up there. Even my son is the same way. He's very much like me. I had enough of that yesterday, so he is vegging out right now. And for me, coming down to the workshop is relaxing. I don't know any other way to explain it other than it's just sort of my getaway, and I do enjoy it. So what I'm doing is, this is a scissor box. If you don't know what scissor boxes are, they're the boxes that when you open them, they expand outward, and they you'll see when I finish it. But I've always wanted a scissor box, and I put the wrong one on there. I've always wanted a scissor box design of my own, and so this is the one I came up with. And there's different versions of it. There's a version for version for like Army Painter paints, which are also compatible with Reaper and what's the other one? I can't remember now. Reaper and some of the other ones. And then I have a different one for Citadel pots, and then I have one for the Pro Grill name brand. So that is it. So the box has a bottom, which is slightly hard. You can see that this one's designed for Citadel pot. Down in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 24 in all. And then there's a little tray that goes on it like this. And these hinges have to be connected at an angle, and that's what creates the scissor effect. And I just use locking nuts to keep them from falling apart. I just purchased an FDM printer. Any tips or tricks? Well, I mean, it depends on how much time you got. I mean, obviously, there's a million videos out there, which I would search out the ones that are specific to your brand name, not just your brand name, but your model number as well. So, if you got an Ender, look for, do a Google search for Ender. If you got an Ender 3, do a search for Ender 3 and that kind of thing, because every 3D printer is a bit different, and you're not going to want to take advice from someone who has, a pro. I mean, you can, but I tend to tell people to, put down the videos that are specific to your model and your brand and your model number. Yeah, I mean, if you got, if you got a 3D printer that's sort of well known, like the name brand is well known, you should have no trouble finding videos to show you how to use it. I mean, there's videos for everything. There's videos that'll show you how to unbox it, videos that'll show you how to, print your first print, and then you'll get more advanced with printers, with like how to, how do you, what in the world am I doing? That's the wrong one. And then so it's 3 levels. And as you can see, this one will go here. So all the hinges are angled. But yeah, what brand did you get, or what name brand did you get? Because as long as it's something sort of, I wouldn't call it popular, but as long as it's something that's not brand new, a new name brand that nobody's ever heard of, you should be able to find plenty of videos out there to help you. Now, normally I would do these in sort of assembly fashion form, but since I've got to do 2, I'm just going to do 1 at a time, and I'll probably solid advice. I purchased an Elegoo. Okay, there you go. Yeah, Elegoo is a well-known name brand. So you hopefully should not have any trouble finding anything. Okay, so here's what it does. You've seen these. They open like this. Now, the reason it's a little creaky right now is they are not tightened down, and I did forget one. That will be critical to its success. So yeah, start there, and hopefully you can find some videos. Now, once you get your printer figured out really well, and you know its quirks and like how to get it configured properly, then you can start going out and like looking for videos on like how to really dial down, because most of the software that runs your 3D printer, at least for Elegoo, I know, and for like what I have over here is the I just went blank on it. The Bamboo. Most of the software, the custom software, ways to really tweak your printers to get the best results. So what works for like a Prusa won't work for, say, an Elegoo. Hang on one second. But yeah, for you. I love when people get their first printer, because it really does open up just some crazy worlds for you. Especially if you're a gamer, all the terrain and miniature printing and like accessories that are out there that you can print depending on games you play. I was at the game store earlier today here in Atlanta playing Marvel Champions, and this guy came in and he had 3D printed a custom storage box for HeroClix. It was color coded. Each shelf was a different color so that he could, he had, I don't know HeroClix all that well, but everything was like printed and designed for its space. Like what will go here is color coded. And then each of the levels, he had compartments, And he had a lid, he had a carrying case. It was really, really well done. I didn't think to ask him how long it took him to print it, but I imagine it was a long time. Hey, Severin, Elegoo is a good brand. I've been using their Mars line for years. Thank you for chiming in. Yeah, Elegoo is definitely a good name brand. So once I've got the box form made, I need to put on the lid, and that's an interesting task in itself. So this thing is all hand. I mean, other than the machine screws, it's all hand assembled. I have to drill holes and screw everything down. It's fun. I enjoy doing this. But like I said, this kind of thing, this is. But there are so many projects out there you can do with a 3D printer. Once you get really good with your 3D printer, you can go searching. Like, for instance, there's this whole, I don't know the name of the company. I will find it out for you. There's a company out there called Modibox, Modibox, I think Modibox or whatever. They make a 3D printable, they make parts to build your own boxes, and they have different levels, make things better. And always trying to improve my stuff. And of course, usually once a week. Sometimes it's not every week. Sometimes it's more like once a month. I try to design new products. You know, I always design things that I use. That's one of the things for most of my gaming stuff. I don't make anything that I don't use myself. Because I first off, the reason I make it in the first place is because I need it. I want it. I want it for my own gaming hobby. Now, I've made a lot of things that have never seen the light of day in the gaming world. And I've made things like this that see it and go, ooh, I want one. And so I'm like, okay, I'll start selling them. But when I made this, initially, it wasn't for sale. It was just for me. And I wanted something that was, you know, handmade by me, and I designed it from the ground up. But I'm glad to know that people like it. But I've done miniature shelving. I've done custom boxes. I've done custom game boards. I make a lot of different game boards for different games that people play, that I play. And so it's always fun. Spin this up here. Everybody's still talking about the printer. Sorry, I was in the chat for a moment. You know, and there's resources out there. There's like Tom Tullis of Fat Dragon Games. Tom is like the guy does everything. He makes games. He designs his own miniatures. He has his own terrain line. He has his own. He draws like historic aircraft. He's got his fingers in everything. But the other thing he is very, very well known for and very respected for in the community is he loves FDM printers. And so he likes to help people. He creates a lot of videos on the Fat Dragon Games channel that you definitely want to look at. He creates resources. Like, he just released a new one. It was the Fat Dragon Guide to Miniature Printing or FDM Printing. I can't remember, but it's just a PDF he sells on Drive-Thru RPG, and he just has lots of advice and owners who want to print like miniatures and stuff. So it's very well done. Oh, you have a resin. I am so sorry. I must have misunderstood. More than one ingestion in front. That's weird. I got an error or something. Am I still live, guys? Some error just popped up on the screen. That was weird. Am I still live? I hope I am. Shows 4 users and the clock is still ticking, so I assume I am. I think I am. Sure. Okay, so I got the lid on. You were just now back live. Went off and came back. That is weird. I wonder how long I was off for. How long was I down for? I thought it was my internet that was lagging. That was weird. Yeah, I got some error on the screen. Something about one ingestion sending a stream to the primary. It's a weird cryptic message. I don't know what that means. That is a YouTube thing. That is not a me thing. But hopefully it's fixed. All right, so now we have the box with the lid. So up next is, Put it back down. All right. So when the box opens, it tips. It's back heavy. We need to put a leg on it. And the way you do that, the first thing you do, I flip this over. And by the way, I'm working on this flat plate. This is a completely flat surface, like no bubbles, or it's so when I set this on it, I know it's level, or at least it's level to this plane. So I know that I'm flat. The next thing I do is I put these 4 feet on. And the reason I do that is they have a thickness. They have a little bit less than 1/4 inch. And if you don't put these on first before you put the leg on, the leg, when you glue it onto the back, it will be 1/4 inch too short. So you will still have this tipping. Can you tell I learned that early on when I made one mistake and I was like, why is this thing tipping? And then I realized, oh, I put it after I glued it. All right, so the feet are on. You flip it over. It opens this, well, it opens to the back. So we're going to glue a leg back here. And this one's done in a unique way. Let me get my Gorilla Tape. So what you do here, now I use, the other thing I do in my workshop, which people find funny and my wife finds funny, I have about 7 different types of tape on my work desk that I use. I have painter's tape, I have duct tape, I have Gorilla Tape, I have clear tape. I depending on the job, you know, calls for a certain type of tape. The reason I use Gorilla Tape is it is strong, and for this I want really strong. So I tear it into 2 strips, and I place this piece so I can place the tape like that, and then I flip it over. And if you glued this completely to the back if I covered this thing with glue and glued it, it wouldn't open. You have to glue it so this will still open. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an inch wide glue trail on this, about an inch. All right. And then remember, this is sitting on feet. So it's got about a 1/4 inch gap underneath it. So this goes all the way flush to the table. And then it comes to the back of the machine, of the back of the box. And I square it up. And I pull the tape tight on the sides to hold that piece in place. And when it dries, that will be a leg that the whole thing sits on. Now, I can't open it right now, but it will be, it won't take long for that glue to dry. All right. Yeah, sorry about the internet going out. Okay, what next? I have 2 pull tabs and 2 carry tabs that go on the side. So what I do is I put these on the sides because I just want a gap between the ground and the finger carries. Put a little glue on it, and then push this side, and then same for this one, like that. Now you can't see it just yet, but on each side there's just, you can carry it with 2 fingers on these little curved pieces that I have. And then lastly, take some tape, painter's tape, put it over this piece, put it over this piece. I wish I should buy I should buy stock in blue painter's tape, Scotch tape. This one goes on the back, right in the middle. And then this one goes on the bottom front. And the reason for this is to open the box, you pull on these 2 tabs. You pull on the one in the front, the one in the back, you pull away from each other, and it opens the box. And let me make sure this is lined up. It is. There we go. All right, that box is done except for the internals. So let me flip the lid over. And then what I did was I designed a tab, or I don't know if this is a slot. These are slots, slot and tab, or slot. I'm not sure what the correct word is for it. But I've got these. And then I take 2 of the medium ones. This goes down here. That goes down in there. This one does the back, and this fits down in here like that. And then I have different sizes, like these small ones. Yeah, where'd it go? These small ones create little single compartments right here. And I do 2 of those. And I just do this to show the owner, the person who's buying it, how these work. And then this 2 wide one goes in the middle to create 2 bigger compartments there. And that is how that works. And then they get a bunch of extras. They get 4 of the wide ones. So you can make, they get three of these, which I need to punch these holes. You can see the precision. The tab is still just pops right out. It's the laser cut is so fine that the piece stays in until you push it out. I love that. You just pop it out. But it tells me my laser is working efficiently. All right, so 3 of these. Then they get a bunch of the medium, the two wide ones. They get 3 of those, plus that one 4. And then they get a bunch, and 4 of those, and those go in here. And then she'll be right back. Give me a second. All right. Then each box goes out with a Tabletop Engineer D6, and I wad up a little bit of this as spacing to just keep it in there so it doesn't rattle too bad. And the lid is done, or that compartment. And then, like I said, these 3 and the extra pieces are used to make another set of boxes or compartments in the second level. And then the bottom level is where you store your paints. And then finally, I test this out. It comes with these 2 pieces. So what these are is this, where was it? This is the bottom, and this is the top. So this slots in here, and it slots in, well, and you do the other one too. This goes in here, and then this goes here. Oops. And that goes in there. And what it does, it creates a little stand. And what you do is when it's sitting on your desk, you put this behind it and it holds the lid like a tabletop. And the circles in the bottom, if you want, they're designed so that you can get 1-inch dowel for like miniatures. Actually, these are the big ones. Let me get the small ones. You get 1-inch dowels, and you cut them to 3-inch high, and they go in here, and they're for what you can put your minis on. Tape your mini on, and you can store them under here to dry or just whatever while you're working. So this breaks down and goes in one of the drawers for transport. And that is a done box. Now, the only thing left to do is I always put a nameplate on the front, and I haven't done that yet. But I'll engrave that a little bit later. All right, let me see if anybody's got any questions. Nope. So right now it's 11 people watching. Awesome. I hope the sound's okay. I've got the microphone a little bit away from me, but all right. I don't want to do another one of those right now. So I will put the other thing I'm very big on is after I make something, and you should get in a habit of this. After, keep everything in one box for each project. That's what I try to do. So the screws and the hinges, everything has its own box, and everything goes back in the big box, and then it goes in its own location. And you get in a habit of always putting every A&W is my favorite. This is the zero sugar. It's what I like. I prefer it. I like Barks, but I like the zero sugar from A&W because it tastes like real root beer, kind of like diet Dr. Pepper. put everything back in its place. Everything in my workshop that I use frequently has a place so that I always know where it is. My tape all goes in a box right over here. I can always find my tape. My drill and drill bits and all, they have a location for them. But it's just one of those things after you do it long enough. Because when I first used to do this, I just threw things around. I'd put them on my desk, wherever I could get them. And it slows you down. And one of the things you learn when you have a small business is you try to make yourself more efficient because time is money. So if I don't have to go hunting for drill bits, drill, tape, my stuff for the boxes, if I know where it is there every time, it saves me time. So there's your little tip for the day. All right, let's see. What do I have next? I need to cut a Marvel Champions card holder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera to the laser. I'm going to turn the microphone. Oops. Okay, this is loose. Let me get the wood. I'll be right back. The wood it's a 2 foot by 4 foot sheet. I keep it under the pool table / ping pong table over here. You can't see, just because it's so big. I am down to 3 sheets, 1, and I've got 2 over there, which means it's time to reorder the wood. I go through wood pretty quick. So for those of you who haven't seen this before, I am dropping the wood onto the flatbed. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. Maybe I can. Let me see. What could I do here? Scoot this back. Now, if I move this down, you can see. And then I'm going to put the microphone here. Hopefully everybody can see. All right. This is the work bed of my laser cutter. It can handle a 4 foot by 5 foot sheet of plywood. Do they make plywood in that size? No, they do not. So I do not know why laser cutter chose this particular dimension, but it will hold the 2 foot by 4 foot completely. Now back here is the head, the laser head, right there. That's where the laser will come out and cut through the wood. And what I'm going to do is, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see it because I've got to get it all the way over into the far left corner. I put it in the top left corner. Let's see. We're not in any hurry, you guys. If you're not interested in this, tell me, and I will go else. I'll do something else. So it's in the top left corner. That is 0, 0. Okay, 0, 0. And so when you design stuff to be cut by the laser, in the software that controls the laser, you can orient the item to start at 0, 0, and it knows how to cut. So what I'm going to be doing here is I am going to select a file, come over here, and there's a interface here. And what I've got to do is find what's called Marvel. This will hold 99 files, and I maxed it out a long time ago. But the things I make the most of, they get stored in here. So this is for the Marvel 3-level cardboard for a Marvel Champions card game. So I select it. I hit origin to define that is the origin. I hit frame. And then what it's going to do is it's going to frame on the cut, the maximum cut size. So I can see if it maybe goes off the wood. But as you can see, it stayed within the border of the wood. So I know I'm good. And then because this is a laser, I have to close the lid. We don't want to be letting fumes out into my workshop. This thing is vented out a back window through that very ugly piece of foam with a tube coming out of it. It's vented. And what I do is now that I've framed it and I know it's good, I come over here and I press start. And it starts cutting. And you can probably hear the jet engine. It's really not loud, believe it or not. It sounds loud. That is actually the exhaust fan in back pulling fumes and to get them out of the workshop. But you can hold a normal conversation in here um, with the laser running. It's not a to do that. Do you buy local for your wood or online? I get it depends. The wood I buy has been sanded on both sides, so it's the highest quality plywood. And if you buy it locally at like Home Depot or Lowe's, you pay a little extra because they mark it up and stuff like that. I buy directly from Home Depot, but they ship it to me, and it ships directly from the not I wouldn't call it the manufacturer. It's not an actual mill, wood mill. Um, it's called Columbia Wood, something Columbia. It's from South Carolina, and they make good wood. I buy usually 10 to 12 sheets at a time. Each one of those sheets is about $25. So, you want to, for instance, if you're running a laser business and you need to get the cost of an item, well, if it takes a whole sheet, $25 for the sheet. If it takes half a sheet, then it's $12.50, and you can get 2 items out of it, right? So you have to figure out the square inches or square footage that your project takes to get the total wood cost to cut it out of a piece of wood. And funny enough, the smaller the wood you buy, the more expensive it gets because it's had more cuts, more labor, or whatever. So if I wish I could buy 4-foot by 8-foot plywood, but there's 2 problems. I don't really have a good place to store it, and when you buy it that big, it tends to warp in transit. Like it goes through different temperature changes, and so it'll start warping. So the smaller the piece, the less, in my warpage. So the 2x4 that I buy is sort of a middle ground. There's usually 1 or 2 pieces in it that sometimes have a little warp in it, and I can fix that. Here in the South, what you can do is you can take it outside during a hot day when there's a lot of humidity, lay it on a flat surface and put some weights on it, and the humidity will get in there like, I guess, water or whatever, and the weights will will flatten it out again. But for most of what I do, which are small items, the warpage is when you cut it out, it loses the warp. It's when you do really large objects that the warp can have a neck. But yeah, I buy it online from Home Depot, and they ship it directly to my house, so I don't have to go to the hardware store or anything like that. Atomic batteries to power. Yeah, I mean this is an industrial printer. I mean a printer, industrial laser. I used to have a Glowforge, which is considered a hobbyist laser, and I used it for 2 years. I had a small business. I used it for 2 years. I could not cut this size wood. I could only cut 19-inch by 12-inch sheets of plywood inside this. It looks like a scanner. It's like a big flat object, and it can't cut very big. And it was a limiting factor for me because I would get like train orders. I make these toy trains, and it would take 4 minutes to cut a train out, maybe 6 depending on the engraving. This thing can cut a train out in about less than a minute and do the engraving and all that. So when I got tired of the Glowforge, and I was like, okay, I'm staying with this. This is my new business. I shopped around, and I was like, I need to get an industrial laser. They're faster. They can cut bigger sheets of wood. They're more reliable. They can cut through thicker material because the laser is more powerful. A lot of different reasons, but you pay for it. And all I can tell you is, there's no secrets here. You can go to Thunder Laser and find out. Now the price may fluctuate here and there, but usually this machine is $11,000. And hey, David, 11,000, and I paid this off in under. I usually tell people I paid it off in about 3 to 4 months because it's hard to put I don't remember when I crossed that line, but it was about 3 or 4 months. It was the holiday season, like August to December. I made enough money to pay it off, and then it's mine. And now it's as an employee. Some different people that have lasers, they do it different ways. What I do is I treat it as an employee. If it can do something that lets me go and do something while it's cutting or working, then I'm basically a two-man operation, and I'm making more money because whatever this makes for the company comes to me. So, right, I don't have to pay this employee. Now, there is a cost involved. Typically, people charge anywhere from 25 cents a minute to a couple dollars a minute. And that's because your laser tube, when it's cutting, it's actually degrading. A laser tube, depending on what you get, can go anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 hours of cutting. I think this one's like rated at 4,000. So you basically have to figure out the cost to replace the tube, and then that will help you determine your per minute cost to cut. And mine comes out to about 50 cents a minute. So when I make something to sell and I price it, remember I got the price of the wood, and then I have the price of the time it takes to cut. So if it takes 10 minutes, I charge $5, or I add $5 to the cost for cutting time. And then of course there's expenses like hinges and glue and things like that. So it's not a 2 or 3 variables. There's a lot of different variables that go into it. Good morning, Sage. Where's he saying? He says, good morning from Brit. No, that's Australia. Or is that Kiwi? I think that's Australia. The flag is tiny, but I think that's Australia. Could be wrong. If I offended, I'm sorry. So this, the Marvel box, it's been going for 7 minutes. I think it takes 12 minutes to cut. So $6 for the Australia. Okay, thank you for confirming that. Yeah, when I first got it, I used to just, it was kind of like a 3D printer. When I first got it, I would just watch it. It's just the most amazing thing in the world. And you kind of get numb to it. My 3D printers and my laser, they just run. I don't leave the room. As you can see, I never go more than 20 or 30 feet from this thing because it's using fire. It's using the power of the sun to cut. Oh no. It takes 7.5 minutes. Okay, I couldn't remember which. It's the multi-level that takes the extra time. So it's done. I don't know if you heard the beep, 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 but it beeps to let me know it's done. The green light right there. When it's red, it's cutting. And when it's green, it's done. Now the fan is still pulling smoke, so I don't want to open the lid until this kicks off. Light over here that tells me when it's going to kick off. There it goes. And now that it's quieter, I can open the lid and remove the items. So take the wood out. You can see that it's got the holes, and move it over here. And then what's left is the pieces to make this Marvel thing. In a minute, I'll show you what it does. But I just take everything out. Take everything out that's going to be glued or assembled. And then what's left over is waste. Now, these I don't go to waste. These are good spacers. I use these for things. I have 1 million of these, and I really have no use for them. So they usually go into the garbage. I feel bad about it, but when you cut a couple million of them, you start losing. You just don't care. You're like, okay, it's the cost of doing business. This all goes in the landfill, and it's wood, so it will degrade. All right, so that's done. I always close the lid just to keep it, if something fell from the roof, it could damage the head. Just keep it closed. Hey, David, how you doing, buddy? I'm gonna move the camera over here again. I tell you what, before I start gluing that together, I'll show you that the box is pretty much done. Let me so I take these parts out. That's supporting the fingers that on the sides here that you use to carry it. I can take the tape off here and off the front. I have wood glue that dries pretty quick. I mean, it gets good and strong after about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. Let me put my drill bit up so I don't lose it. And with that done, I just checked to make sure this is good. This is good. The Gorilla Tape comes off, and then I test it and see if it opens and supports itself, which it should. Turn it sideways, and then remember, you pull here and you pull here, and it opens, and the leg right here is keeping it from tipping over, and there you go. And then the last thing I do is I put the bigger pieces in here just for transport. And I also take, where was it? What did I do with it? I take my wrapper and just for packaging and stick it in here just to keep it from rattling too much. And there you go. Now, the only thing that's left to do, like I said, is I have a name plate that I glue here, and I have to make that custom. It takes about a minute and a half to cut it and engrave the name, and that gets glued on there, and then I ship it. So it's got the feet on them. Oh, that piece is sticking out. And that is one paint box, 95% ready to go. I just got to get the name tag on the front, and it's done. Put it over here. Like I said, I got another one to make, but I'm not going to do that on video. Let's see. All right, next. Bend this down. So this is, I don't really have a picture of it handy, but this is a card rack for holding cards vertical, and then these are for tokens. And believe it or not, I made this for myself because I play a lot of Marvel Champions, and then the people at the game store liked it if I would make them one. So I made one for just about everybody in my gaming group that plays Marvel Champions. And then people started saying, well, I want one. And they weren't in my group. So I was like, all right, I'll make you one. And I put it on Etsy. And now I probably sell a couple of these, sometimes 2 or 3 a week. And if you're ever working, these are great. 1, 2, 3 blocks. They weigh things down. And then I get a paper towel, wipe away the excess glue, and this back leg on it. This one is this one's pretty fast to make. I can make one. Well, the glue's got to dry on. It's made in 2 parts. The glue has to dry it, and then the 2 parts are merged together. And so I probably won't be able to finish this one on video, but that's okay. And put this in. I've gotten where I'm pretty good at making things to slot fit. There we go. All right, so this piece will snap in here and make let me see if I can turn this so you can see it. Let's see. All right, so this piece will come together, and this makes 2 levels, level 1, level 2. And then there is a 3rd level. Now, when I print these out, the person who ordered this only ordered a 2 level. So they'll just get these 2 pieces. But anytime I cut a 2 level, I go ahead and I make the 3rd level, because the next time somebody orders a 3 level one, I have the 3rd level already done. I don't have to cut that part. It just saves me a little time. So I can do it now or I can do it later. And I choose to, if I'm going to cut one, I might as well just cut the whole thing. And this one puts together pretty much like the other one. It glues together very fast. And put it down here. And I weigh it down. Okay. Square it up. Get the excess glue off. And this one has 2 panels that it uses to support the top 2. But again, remember, I'm not gluing this one together. This goes on the front, and this one goes on the back. And it will be when the glue dries, I'll set this aside. I have an area over here where I put things that are just sort of waiting for somebody else to order. It's on here. And when this one dries, this piece will be glued on top. But again, I'm not going to be doing that. And the other reason I like using this whiteboard or this flatboard is I can pick it up and I can move it. So give me just a moment to move this out of the way, clear some space up, and I'll be right back. All right, so there you go. And this box, I'm not going to make it. This one is used to hold Reaper or Army Painter or Vallejo paint. Couldn't remember the third one. Vallejo, Army Painter, and Reaper will fit. And this holds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 19 times, 19. It'll hold 19 bottles. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 19. And then the Citadel one holds 24. Yeah, that was it. All right. Let's see. What else? Is this scrolling? Yeah. Okay. New item. This one's really simple. So I make these game boards for Against Darkness, and they use these little creature tokens that I've made. Just you drop them in, and it tells you what creature you're fighting. Well, somebody asked me to make dry erase ones that fit in there, so I made dry erase ones, and the dry erase board cuts a little different. It took a little. I know it now, but when I first started cutting dry erase board, it was tricky because if you cut it too shallow or not deep enough, when you break it, when you pop it out, this dry erase material is very sensitive. Is not the word. It's not fragile. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it cracks easy. And if you cut it too deep, not only are you wasting energy because the laser's is cutting something with more power than it needs to, but it can also char the underside and look like residue. So I found a happy medium. It comes out good, and I can make 8 of these in not too long. I don't remember how long it takes, but somebody asked me if I could make them to brittle. Thank you. Thank you. Brittle. Somebody asked me to sell them as an optional add-on for people who buy the 4AD board. So I did that I did it a couple days ago, and I've got to get that added to the Etsy store. Let's see, what else was I was gonna share some other stuff with y'all. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah. Let me show you my newest thing. And for those of you who are new to 3D printing, you're gonna love this because this is terrain from Dragon's Rest. My friend Ron put me onto this. Ron Purvis. Where is the rest of it? Here it is. That's not it. Here it is. All right. Ron Purvis put me onto this, and it's pretty cool. So it's sci-fi scaffolding, and believe it or not, I had it already. A year ago or however long, I had backed a Kickstarter of theirs, and I did the all-in, and the all-ins on these are sometimes nice because they'll sometimes release like upgrades or new components, and if you bought the all-in, they just give it to you. And it turns out that I backed this quite a while ago, and so I didn't have to buy it. It was kind of cool. It uses a clip system, and this is unique to Dragon's Rest. These are not like I don't think these are a standard clip that you can use with like dungeon terrains and stuff like that. I think it's unique to Dragon's Rest. But what it does is, like, for instance, I printed out some staircases, right? So the stairs have a slot in them. You put this in, and I printed out the really hard ones, and I did that for a reason because I didn't want them coming out. You can get different versions of the pins. You can get like loosey goosey ones that are like real wobbly, and you might like that. I just want the ones that aren't going to come out. So you put two in, you push them in really good. All right, like that. And then I printed these aren't painted yet. I got to paint these. So these are like the left and right handrail. And then these click in. I don't want to snap them in because they're going to be hard to get off. So there's the right. Is that? No. Trying to find the left one and the right one. They almost look identical. There we go. So you have a right and a left one. Okay. So you can make these stairs, and it's plastic. It's It's a FDM printer, and then once you get the stairs here, so you can put two into here. And what I've been printing lately over the last day or two is I've been printing the walkways and the I don't know what you would call them, the walkways, and they have right angles, they have three-way, they have. Come on now, get in there. That one's not going. There we go. They have different ones. Like here's a right angle, you can see, and here is a three-way. Right. So the stairs you could plug it in like that, and you get elevation, and they have corridor or things that can extend the plank. This one's a long one. This one is a medium one, and then they have a shorter one, which I don't think I've printed the shorter ones yet. And they're the ones that were posted in Discord. Yes, they are. Yeah, Ron Purvis posted a link to them. It's I've printed here's the big one. I only printed two of these because I can't see needing a lot of these. This is a five one. I think this will make a great guard tower. So here are the stands. And the stands are designed so you can stack them. So you can make them, you can do 1 level high, 2 level high. And when these connect with the pin, right? So when you do that, if you do a 2 and you put it underneath each one of these legs, you could make a guard tower and put a single staircase to get up to the guard tower. Ladders, I haven't printed any of the ladders yet. But it's really interesting. The possibilities here for creating just some amazing gangways and I have a lot of sci-fi terrain, and you could put it under, you could make a base, a base with it. Here are the thin staircases. They only use one plug, but they also can have hand guardrails if you want them. I probably won't do the guardrails, but who knows. Now I'm painting everything to match other terrain I have, like these. And I apologize, I cannot remember where I got these, but if you bug me, I will hunt it down. These blocks, sci-fi blocks, and they're just used to create interesting environments. You can. They're this one is double. So you can put two. Everything's a multiple of each other, and I've painted them in different colors. I've got a metallic, a gray, a bronze, excuse me, and gold. And this one's like a building, right? It looks like a building, but you don't have to treat it like that. There's terrain that it comes with it that slides into this groove that makes it look sort of like not a cube, right? But the detail on it is really well done. This one I haven't painted like the pipes and stuff. I will do that, but you can see like I've started on it here. I've got some of the piping done with just some color to give it. So these are going to be painted in just the base colors that I've done with these, so I can mix and match them. But the reason I printed the stairs, the burnt orange, was because for this stuff, they came with stairs. They're slightly different, but I painted them orange. And so when I mix these two terrain systems together, hopefully it'll blend. All the stairs will be an orange, and then all the other structures will be these base gray, gold, bronze colors. I haven't decided what I'm going to paint the rails for the stairs. I thought about white, I just don't know. I haven't thought about that yet. And as you can see right now, my printers are not going. There's my second one I just printed this morning. So that one is done. And I only printed two because, like I said, for a 3x3 for a 3x3 play area, wargaming area, I don't see needing more of these. If I do, I'll print more. But I'm just trying. What I'm trying to do is print up a nice collection of sci-fi terrain that I can mix and match, because sometimes the terrains, the creators, the sellers, they create this terrain and it doesn't. Sometimes it just doesn't look like it mixes. So I've learned the colors are how you can make things look like they belong in the same universe, so to speak. All right. Let's see. Yeah. So that was one thing I wanted to show you. And I have a game I gotta record probably tomorrow. Well, no, tomorrow's not Monday. By Monday, I have another Stargrave video I need to record, and I'm wanting to use this terrain for it. So gotta get this stuff done. I'm not running the 3D printers right now. I guess I should that loud, but I just forgot to start them up when I came down here. But I usually try to keep those running constantly when I have filament. I try to keep them running. And then what I do is when I do take like 6 to 8 hours, like this one took, I think, 4. So the other night I think I did like 6 of these types of things, and it was 7 or 8 hours. So I just start it before I go to bed. By the time I get up the next morning, it's like magic. Santa delivered more terrain. I like printing at night while I sleep, because, you wake up and you're like, oh, it's done. I waiting for those printers to get finished. I'm in the morning at like 8 or 9 o'clock and it says 7 hours. It's hard to wait till 3 o'clock. You want it to get, I wish these things would run faster. But I've got a whole box here of the gold, silver, bronze. And this is probably as much as I'll do. Here's another size for you. They have different ones flat, and this one's a small. But what's really cool about this system is when you put it on a table, here's a gray one, and you can see that, I did go different colors for these bigger ones. But what's neat about these is when you put them on the table and I forgot I have this like bluish gray. I forgot I had, that may be for the handrails. I may use that one for the handrails. But what's neat is when you see a whole table of these, and these blocks have been like stacked on top of one another, and put it, just these simple geometric shapes, cubes and squares and stuff, they really make the table look good. You don't have to go, when you're doing sci-fi terrain, this is just my opinion, but when you're going with sci-fi terrain, you don't have to go with like really complex stuff. You have a mix of good colors, and you can like mix and match the, stack things. I think any table would look good. And that's why I love the scaffolding, because I think when I put all this down and then I build the scaffolding like maybe around it or weaving through it, like it's a warehouse or something, it's going to look so good. All of it is going to get painted this light gray. I want all of the scaffolding to be painted the same color, and I chose the light gray just because when miniatures are on it, I think they'll look good with that lighter color. I could be wrong. Maybe a darker color would be better, but I think this will look fine. So if you want this terrain, it's found at Dragon's Rest. Dragon apostrophe S Rest, REST. Do a Google search. Go to their sci-fi, and you should find it. It's there. All right. How long I've been going? Ooh, over an hour. Okay. Let me put this up, and got to go paint some more. Oh yeah, let me show you this bad boy. So this is another Dragon's Rest. This is done, or I think it's done. This is a Space 1999, era cargo ship that my crew, my Stargrave crew, this is what they're traveling in. Every now and then, you want to use this in every game because it looks so cool. but I'm going to probably every fifth or 10th game, this will make an appearance on the play area. Like they've landed in a hot zone, but it's big. It takes a lot of space, but it's so cool. It blocks line of sight. It has raised areas that you could climb up on. The doors open so that you can move through the ship if you leave them open. The ship is designed to be opened so you can see the interior, but I didn't do that. I glued everything together. It was so like rattly wiggly. I ended up, you can tell it's glued together. It does use this clip system because it's Dragon's Rest. So what I did was I put the clips in, and then I put my mask on, put the fan blowing on me. Then I super glued it all, and then put it outside so it could dry. And then I painted it. I didn't want to go super crazy with colors, but the tanks needed to be something sort of red, orange. I did some of the cabling, tubing. The cargo sections are painted in blue. And the engines and thrusters are black. And I may do some more to it. I also hit all the rivets with black dots. I may do some more to it, but I think it's said and done. And it weighs, I don't know how much it weighs. Probably weighs about 2 or 3 pounds. It's a good monster. So let's see. Oh, paint these. Got pieces laying around. I don't want to forget them. Okay, well, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I could do more, but I'm sort of running out of topics. Those look great. Are those the ones? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading a previous message. It is my son graduated high school last night, and so my in-laws are in town. So I don't want to be too rude. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I'll probably glue that other box up tomorrow. And I'm going to go up and spend some time with my family. The Braves are playing right now. I don't know if they're winning or losing. Don't tell me. Please don't spoil it for me, but I'm going to go up and see. And I'll be Tuesday night with a live painting session. That is on Discord. So if you want to join me, it's usually at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we just sit around on Discord video and we paint and chat. So you're welcome to come and join me. Y'all have a great rest of your afternoon. And have a great rest of your weekend. And I'll see some of you on Tuesday. Do another one of these live things during the coming week. Now that it's summer and my kids are off out of school, things have kind of slowed down a little bit. And I can do some things while I'm working in the workshop and do some more streams. So I'll keep that in mind. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you soon.